Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours, a storytelling podcast with me, your host, Trey Everett. Hello and welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours. Before I get into the guest, I have a great announcement today. The publisher of my book, Beneath the Surface, has agreed to give a discount code for Tell Me Yours listeners. So, if you're listening to this now and you haven't had a chance to pick up a copy of my book, Beneath the Surface, head over to blackrosewriting.com and you can buy my book. If you use the promo code Tell Me Yours, you'll get 20% off the total cost, which is pretty rad. Today on the pod, I have an LA-based actress who was most recently seen in For the Record's Love Actually Live. Please welcome to the pod, Parissa Koo.
Set up my microphone and everything.
I'm so disappointed in myself. You're only the second person I've ever talked to that joined Zoom before I did.
Oh my gosh.
You sneaky minx.
You know what? I was having a good day. What can I say?
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much for doing it. I'm so excited to meet you and to chat with you. And I'm just really appreciative that you're taking some time out of your Friday afternoon.
I mean, yeah. Here, let me just silence 1 second. I'm getting messages on my computer and I hate that.
I love it. And it never happens until you need it for something.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, go away. That's distracting. No. I just kind of moved back to LA.
Okay.
So I'm originally from the Bay Area.
Cool.
And when the pandemic hit, so I've lived in LA, I don't know, like 6 years before the pandemic, maybe 7 years before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
And then the pandemic hit and I was like, okay, nothing is happening. I'm not getting any auditions. I'm just going to head back to the Bay Area.
Smart.
And be with my family. And I think a lot of people did that.
Tons of people did it, yeah.
So I just recently moved back to LA
Cool.
November. So,
wow.
Yeah, I moved back for Love Actually.
Cool.
Because I wanted something to bring me back to LA. So I'm, this was the perfect way. I wanted to be a part of this show since it first premiered. They've had so many reincarnations of it.
Yeah.
So when they asked me to do it, I was like, heck yes. So I found a place to live in a matter of weeks and just decided you know what, it is time. I'm moving back. And yeah.
I love it.
So
well,
right
congrats.
now,
That's
now
cool.
things are very open and I have time. And I was like, yeah, this sounds fun. Let's do it.
I love it.
I always say a motto that I live by is everything happens for a reason, good or bad. But always ultimately I think is going to where you need to be.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Yeah. Are you still acting or
No. I write though. I write a lot.
I saw your Instagram.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. I just kind of realized my interpretation of the industry is that if you're going to be successful as an actor, you sort of have to be willing to lay everything on the line to be successful at that craft. And I just knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
I just knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
At least not to make a career out of it. I still do it because I still love to do it. I just did a production of this play called The Old Man and the Old Moon in Orange County. And I love to do that. And I just did it in my free time. But as a career, I was like, this is not going to be for me for sure.
Yeah.
But writing was a natural pivot to the side where I can do it in my own time. I don't have to feel pressured to survive off of it, but I still am able to make a successful venture out of it, which is fun.
Heck yeah. No, It looks incredible. I haven't read it yet, but
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's
but
really
I read the bio and it was cool.
Oh, no. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But that brings me to the point of us talking today.
Yeah.
And that is that you are going to tell me a story.
Oh.
I love it.
Wow.
Sneaky.
Man. Okay. So this is the story I landed on that I decided
I'm so excited
to tell. It's so funny because I talked to my sister today asking her what I should talk about. And she was like, clearly, Parissa, it's the heartbreak I'm sorry, I have to bring it to dramatic, even though I'm
I
very
love
funny,
it.
I feel like,
No,
but
I love it. Oh,
but
the
it's a
hair
drama,
toss.
and I'm funny. Yeah, it's a drama. It's so funny that you know Carson, because the whole story is doing the cruise ship gig that he also did.
Yeah.
And that's how I know Carson is
Wow.
he was in the cast after me for this show called For the Record Live, The Brat Pack, which is, for the record, also did Love Actually. So
perfect.
But I don't know. Serena just told me, she said that this is just such a coming of age for me, because I was so young when I was in like my first kind of serious relationship. It wasn't even that long. I just lived with the guy for a year and I loved him.
That's a substantial amount of time.
Right? And to live with someone, like it feels like such a huge step. Like I should, be moving forward with this person, or, but of course, relationships, you just figure yourself out, and also people grow. So you just never know. But I was so in love with this guy. I think I was 24 or something, 24. And I don't know, that's young. And I was living with him and everything. Was so obsessed with him. Like I just really loved him. And I even met his family, and all this stuff. Went to his sister's wedding. It was just felt very serious in my head. And but he would always keep trying to push me to be better and go after my career of being an actor. And I really appreciated that. That's why I adored him so much.
Absolutely.
He pushed me. And so
because I feel like that's very counter to what a lot of people's experiences are. Especially when you are like early off in this career endeavor where people are like, hey, like this is impossible to achieve. Yeah. So to have someone that's who's like, go for it, like do this.
And so supportive. And he was also very good with filming stuff and setups. Like he was older than me. So he just knew that stuff. So it was just really great to have someone in my life who could help me and support me and all that good stuff. He was a musician. And
I don't trust him already.
I know. Right then and there, I was like, I haven't had the best success with musicians, guys. No. Not that I'm turned off to any musician.
I'm a musician as well. We're good people. There's just a stereotype. Okay.
Dude, I know. Oh my God. This is like
so funny.
This is the epitome. This story is the epitome of just him choosing music in the end more so than like, seeing, it's just relationship drama ensued. But at the time, I just wanted to go and audition for everything. But it was not in the right place for me, where it's like, I should be doing it for me. It was more like I was doing it for him. And so I was just going out for everything. And there was this like cruise ship listing, or it was for a show called like For the Record Live, The Brat Pack. And I've seen a For the Record show before. The first show I saw was Tarantino at Rockwell. And I just thought it was amazing. I was like, man, it would be cool to like be a part of this, this group. So I submitted on Actors Access. They called me in. And I was really sick, so I didn't even prepare for it very well. I didn't even know the songs. I was like holding my sides and everything, but I think I was going through so much stuff with my ex-boyfriend that all of this emotion came out. Even just looking at the lines and reading it just hurt so much. And so they literally, I think after the dramatic scene, it was like the Pretty in Pink locker scene. Cause I don't know if you know, For the Record, they do like, they take director's films and, and do scenes from the films and stuff. So I did that one and I literally started sobbing. And
they're like, holy shit, this girl's amazing.
And they literally stood up, like, I don't know if they stood up, but they clapped. They freaking clapped. And I was just like, I'm sorry, going through some things right now.
Oh my God.
And, like, I was just like still kind of sick too. It was just so bad. And honestly, after that, I was like, man, I might have actually booked that, but this is like a Christian gig. And like, I was just like, you know what? We'll see. So months go by. I didn't hear anything. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like in Vegas and I was going through so many the relationship was not working and I could feel it, but I was like so attached to him and didn't want it to end. And I went to Vegas for like my sister's birthday. And I remember it was the last day and we were all hungover, getting off the elevator, being like, all right, time to head back to LA. And I get like an email saying I booked the cruise ship gig and like, this is when we'd be leaving. This is when rehearsals start. And my first reaction, I just started sobbing again because I was like, no, we're gonna break up. Like, that was my first reaction. I was like, oh my God, Parissa.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. Just
all of your dreams and your worst fears were simultaneously.
It hurt. It hurt. So honestly, like, I don't even need to give details, but like from then on, like, things weren't really working out. He was definitely like the last person I saw like before the day I left, because we, you know, still like cared about each other or whatever.
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
The first few weeks he was trying to be supportive and texted me and like, and then eventually was just like, you know, I didn't want to do long distance, and like, because he wouldn't say I love you back anymore. I was like, oh my God. Like, it was just like, it was like the worst moment of my life. I felt like a teenage girl. And the ship is crazy to like get on a cruise ship for like as many months as I did. It was just
I bet
insanity. Like, nothing felt real. I think I was just so stuck in the drama of this relationship stuff happening that I didn't even realize, I'm like, you're on a cruise ship right now with like this incredible cast that you're not even like, so
I would imagine that being on a cruise ship in general sort of lends itself to like the ability to let reality like stop making sense.
Yes, like dissipate a bit. You would think that.
Oh, okay.
No, instead, me and my other castmate, who was also going through a breakup, her and I would just sit in the garden, which was this like eating like buffet hall on the ship, and we just sit there like just depressed, talking over and over about our situations and about these guys. And it was just so pathetic for like, I don't even know. It was like the first month or 2 months of the cruise ship contract. It was just heartbreak. Like, we were just so depressed. But no, I think like halfway through, I eventually started to like get better. You meet other people. It's fine. But like, it's just so crazy. Like, that whole situation was just so crazy to me. Like, nothing really clicked at the time. And then halfway through, you're like, wow, I'm on a cruise ship and I'm starring in this show. And like, I'm working with like, I don't know if you know, like Lindsay Pierce. Oh my God. She was my basket case for the show. And she's just so incredibly talented. And now she's like Elphaba on Broadway right now. So it was just the most amazing experience. Like, it was really hard, but I learned so much about myself. And it was kind of almost like a coming of age. It's like, I didn't go to college. So being on this cruise ship was my college experience.
There you go. I worked at Disneyland for a number of years.
Oh, no way.
A ton of my friends did Disney cruise contracts.
Yeah.
And like they just had war stories from their cruise contracts, because they're like, you're on a boat 7 days a week, you're working every day, and I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds crazy.
It is. It's wild. Like no one will ever understand unless they've done it too.
Yeah.
And I really like. I think I made a friend. Like, after I did my contract, I started going to this billiards bar in Burbank. I don't know if you've heard of Fantasia Billiards.
I haven't, but I've probably been there.
Yes. You're like, right, that drunken night I went to
I
go
probably
play
recognize
pool.
the inside of it, but I don't recognize the name of it.
Oh my God. The saxophonist from the ship, he was like my best friend, and I crashed on his couch for so long after the ship contract before I found a place. But him and I would go to that Fantasia Billiards almost every night, and that's honestly where I met one of my best friends too. And it was because I used this, they pay us on these cards called Ocean Pay cards when you work on a cruise ship. Okay. And I paid with it at the pool place. And she asked me, did you used to work on cruise ships? And I said, yeah. She's like, me too. So that like fast friends, you just know like what we've been through. And so, yeah. And now she's like one of my closest friends.
I love that. I love that so much.
Community is everything. Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
You wouldn't be who you are today without the types of communities
and the experiences that you have. So even though like obviously going through that monumental of a heartbreak is obviously like, I mean, we just laughed through that whole story together, but like obviously that's not a funny story.
So long ago. Yeah.
But like even experiences like that, like I think have such a huge hand in kind of like molding you into the person that you become. Yeah, that's incredible. I love that.
As heartbroken as I was, I'm grateful I had the experience because I needed to have it. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Are you still friends with a lot of people that you did that cruise contract with?
Oh, definitely.
Love it. I knew the answer was going to be yes, but
The girl that we had all of our heartbroken like dinners with, who she was she was a swing for my role.
Okay.
And she's one of my best friends.
I love
Like
it.
we talk about Doctor Who all the time. She lives not far from me. She's one of my best friends. And yeah, a lot of who else was in my and then Tom, he's the saxophonist for Love Actually too. So
Oh,
I think that's
cool.
the other thing, just getting to be a part of For the Record finally too was
Mm.
just so helpful
Yeah,
into
yeah,
like
yeah.
getting over things too. And they've been like my family. So everyone
cool.
who's ever done shows with them, we're always doing the shows together. And
That's cool.
yeah,
Well, and now kind of full circle, it's the reason that you got to come back to LA.
I know.
So cool. I love that. I think
Everything
that's
happens
amazing.
for a reason.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. That's like a really special story.
Yeah, it's man, it's just so crazy how depressed I was during that chapter of my life. It was just like it's so funny. It kind of made me, I don't know if I'm like super over that relationship wise and finding love. I think I've gotten very what's the word? Just not trusting in love as much anymore, and that's bad. But I think that's like the next thing that has to happen is finding a way out of that and being able to trust people and letting people into your lives like that again. So something I'm always working on, but yeah, it makes you stronger.
Well, absolutely. And like, yeah, I think something like that, I mean, there's no timing for that. There's no like rules. Like you'll find your way back to that part of yourself when it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean?
It's largely who you are, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really honestly, I mean, the
as
pandemic.
As much as I don't want it to be, but.
Yeah. Right? But I don't know, as much as this pandemic has been horrible, I definitely have learned a lot about myself, just being back home and finding my roots with my family and knowing who I am in that way has been really great. It's really interesting to be back in LA now and almost feeling like a different person because
it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. My day-to-day was so different there of how I treated myself that being back here, it's kind of just bringing that with me in some way to keep me sane.
That's good. But what's cool is that you might look back on even this moment a few years from now and realize that like you needed to go through that to be where you are at that point.
Definitely.
It's just like so wild. You know what I mean? I don't know. Life is so goddamn weird.
There's so much more that lies ahead.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I think that's brilliant. And that was perfect. And that wasn't, I mean, it was a sad story, but it wasn't a sad story. It was an uplift. That's an inspirational story.
Exactly.
Come on.
With loss comes learning.
Comes, whatever they say about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love that. I know you said you don't have anything specifically going on right now, but is there anything you would prefer I point people towards for you?
I mean, follow me on Instagram.
Perfect.
That's where you'll find the next things that are coming. So, I would just say Parissa Koo at Parissa Koo. But yeah, at the moment, I mean, there are projects I'm working on. Just don't know when they're going to come out. So just follow me on there and you'll know.
There you go. I will absolutely point people towards your Instagram. And I personally will look forward to whatever you get to announce next. And I am excited for you in advance.
Thanks. It was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was great to meet you too. I mean,
I'm so glad you reached out.
It's since I started recording these, like I was just like, I'm just going to reach out to anyone that I think might be interesting. And it's been so cool to have so many people say yes. And not that I like didn't think people would, but like, I don't know, a part of me is like, they have no reason to. Like, what? Hey, stranger from the internet. Yeah, sure, I'll tell you a story. Like, fuck.
Then again, that's how things are done these days. It feels
for
like,
real. Yeah, but yeah, so it's just been super cool to like, because I mean, I've been able to connect with people all over the country, which has been really exciting.
Oh my goodness!
But also,
where's
like,
the craziest? What's the craziest country?
Well, I mean, I have some friends in the UK that I have stuff scheduled with, so that'll be kind of cool. But like there's a jazz vocalist in Canada And
Cool.
again, she's just an artist I saw on TikTok, and I was like, I love jazz. I love jazz music, but like all of the iconic jazz artists, that's what you listen to all the time. And so I found this woman on TikTok, and she's like a contemporary jazz artist, where it's like it sounds and feels and looks and smells like a jazz standard, but then you listen to what she's singing about, and it's like modern day stuff. So it's like so cool. And I followed her on TikTok, and like all her videos were so cool. And I just like reached out, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Would you want to chat? And she was like, sure, that sounds awesome. And so it's like little stuff like that, but it's also just super cool to like be able to like virtually, obviously, but like be able to meet so many people in LA too. And like-minded artists, and like being able to kind of even
we were
build
just
a small
talking about
community here.
Connecting, like in this industry, connecting is the biggest thing. So
everything.
I think what you did is just so smart, and this podcast is going to be so interesting to listen to.
But yeah, it's been super fun and really cool, and I've gotten to chat with so many different people, and I've been told really funny stories and like really sad stories and everything in between, and it's just been really cool to like you said, like because of the pandemic, like networking in LA is everything, especially for someone like me, like a writer. Like networking is the only way I'll ever see success, but I can't do that right now. Like we can't go to a bar and strike up a conversation.
And I think that's why you're getting so many yeses, is because this really is the way to do things these days.
Yes.
So it's not hard to just jump on your computer and be able to meet someone new.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I love it, but I genuinely thank you. This was awesome. You're so lovely. It was great to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
100%. Yeah, I'll keep you updated on when this episode makes it out.
Yes.
But
Low-key, I was talking to my sister about telling this story, and I was just like, oh my God, if I tell this, like I'm still friends with people who know him. I don't talk to him anymore, but I was just like, this is gonna be so awkward to be talking about this like relationship and like people knowing who I'm talking about. But
nah, you're fine. Your story was mild. It's great.
My sister was like, Parissa, please, this was so long ago, just get over it.
I love that so much. Awesome. Well, I will not take up any more of your Friday. Thank you again so much. It was awesome to meet you. And yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to see what you do next.
Thanks.
All right, Parissa, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to follow Parissa, head over to Instagram. She is just at Parissa Koo. I'll have some links in the show notes of this episode. If you want to follow us, Twitter and Instagram, we are just at Tell Me Yours Pod. And if you want some extra time with Parissa, I even share a story this time, head over to patreon.com/tellmeyours. You'll get some bonus conversations, some bonus laughs, and you'll be able to support this podcast. Be sure to leave some comments, share with your friends, subscribe, whatever else I'm supposed to say to make this thing a success. But most importantly, until next week, be kind to each other, and we'll talk soon.